Hello, I'm Collin and you're watching Magic Strawberry. Today I will be looking at the cynical cash grab that is Metal Gear Survive, and it's not very good. It's pretty much impossible to discuss this game without talking about the backstory, specifically regarding Hideo Kojima's separation from Konami, so I'm not even going to try not to. It's absolutely no secret whatsoever that Konami's reputation has taken a nosedive in the last few years after their highly publicized divorce from Metal Gear creator Hideo Kojima. As many already know, Kojima was let go from the company before the release of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which left him to finish the game pretty much indirectly with the rest of the crew. This would explain why the last portion of the game was flat out not finished. Any projects that Kojima was still developing with Konami were then scrapped, including the much anticipated Silent Hill reboot he was developing with Guillermo del Toro. Konami's lawyers would even later prevent Kojima from publicly accepting any awards the game would later garner at that year's Game Award. Whatever their reasons may have been, whether it was because of the Phantom Pain's development went over budget or because of the company's newfound focus on the mobile gaming market, this hardly seemed the right way to treat someone who was responsible for many of the accolades the company received for the past 30 years. Today, Hideo Kojima operates from his own indie studio dubbed Kojima Productions and is still currently developing the PS4 exclusive Death Stranding. And the Metal Gear franchise now lives on in the form of pachinko machines and this. The Metal Gear franchise is no stranger to outlandish storylines, but this one is especially odd. Metal Gear Survive opens with the destruction of the Mother Base while using recycled footage from Ground Zeroes. After Big Boss evacuates the area, however, a wormhole opens up above Mother Base and it absorbs everything below, save your own character, though we can't say the same for his arm. About 6 months after, you awaken in a secret government facility that apparently specializes in parasitic infections and wormholes. It is eventually revealed that your character has been infected with a virus when he came in contact with the wormhole. He's then assigned to travel to an alternate dimension to a world named Dita, and it's filled with zombies. As a huge Metal Gear fan myself, I had to try really hard to be objective while playing Survive because after all, that is what a review should be, objective. With that in mind, I had to admit to myself that there was some fun to be had while playing this game. It takes a few hours, but once you have upgraded your gear, get more weapons, make resources more plentiful, and gain more allies, and use all of these to fend off big hordes of zombies, the game is at least slightly below average at that point, but I'm afraid that's where the positives end. I'm hardly the first person to say so, but shifting the franchise into the zombie survival genre was literally the most uninspired direction Konami could have taken. Like many other people, I am simply jaded with the massive influx of zombie-related content, whether it be in film, TV, or in this case, gaming. I figured we would have moved past this by now, but Konami felt the need to dip their toes in what was already a crowded market. What makes it all the worse is that they added nothing new to the entire genre. All the tropes that we have become familiar with regarding zombies are present here, even the one where everyone calls the zombies every name under the sun, other than, zombies. In this case, they're wanderers. The graphics were also a disappointing aspect of the game since they neither improved nor degraded from the last entry. In fact, despite this game taking place in an alternate dimension and on a different world, the maps look the exact same from the Afghanistan and Africa maps from the Phantom Pain. Even worse is that some of the companions you come across look flat out unfinished. The survival aspects of the game are the most tedious and annoying. Since it is a survival game, it means you also have to pay attention to your hunger and thirst levels.
Unlike us, you humans need food and water to live.
Be sure to eat or drink when you become hungry or thirsty.
The problem is that these levels decline way too rapidly, and you spend much of the beginning of the game scavenging the map for water and random sheep to kill for food, all of which are scarce. This is especially tiresome when you are in the middle of a mission and you're unable to continue because your character all of a sudden decides to get hungry. So then you gotta kill more sheep, and even when you do, you can't eat it right there because this game is aiming for realism, I guess. So then you have to bring the raw meat back to the base and cook it so that you can finally eat it, and only then can you proceed on your mission. You also have to manage your stamina levels because despite the fact that your character is supposed to be a trained military operative, he can't sprint for more than 30 seconds without getting winded. I can sprint longer than that.
Pay attention to your stamina. Pay attention to your stamina. Pay attention to your stamina.
The combat, especially since its melee focus, is clumsy. It starts out fine because at least you have a gun, but don't get too used to it because you'll have to quickly switch to this stick It's every bit as clunky as it looks. Even though you can acquire a bow and various other weapons later, this is really as good as the combat gets. Almost every mission begins and ends the same way too. First, your AI sends you on a fetch quest to get a memory thing, and then you run to the area where the thing is as fast as your character can manage, and you wipe out the zombies in the area by setting up a fence and then poking them with your stick. Then you retrieve the thingy, run back to the base, connect the thingy to the thingy, and then the mission ends. I can go on, but the point is the game not only fails as a Metal Gear game, but it fails on its own merits as well. Metal Gear Survive is so crushingly tedious and a non-stop grind from the very beginning. The constant resource managing, clumsy combat, and nonsensical story, even for a Metal Gear game, all add up to a catastrophe that isn't worth more than 5 minutes of anyone's time, and it certainly wasn't worth several hours of mine. Oh, and Konami charges you $10 for an extra save file. 3 out of 10. Well, that's all the time I have for today on Magic Strawberry. Until next time, make sure to follow us on Twitter at the handle @ZTVGoofingOff, or don't, it's up to you. Bye-bye.